Listen to me. Everybody wants to be great, but not everybody wants to do what greatness requires. You say you want to lead. You say you want to motivate others. You say you want to make an impact, but when it's time to act, you freeze. You think it's about talking, about posting quotes or shouting words of motivation, but it's not. The truth is simple. Action speaks louder than motivation. People don't remember what you said. They remember what you did when it was hard. You can give the best speech in the world, but if your actions don't match your message, nobody will follow you. You can talk about discipline, but if you hit snooze every morning, you're not an example. You're just noise. I learned a long time ago that words don't move mountains, work does. You can say I want it 1,000 times, but until you show it with your effort, those words mean nothing. Action is what separates the dreamers from the doers. The dreamers talk about what they're going to do someday. The doers get up and do it today. When you wake up at 4 a.m. to grind, when you stay focused when others give up, that's when people start to respect you. That's when your actions start speaking for you. You don't have to tell anybody you're committed. They'll see it. You don't have to tell anybody you're hungry. Your consistency will prove it. Every time you make a move toward your goal, you're sending a message to the world about who you are. You're telling people that your dreams matter. You're showing them that your word means something. The reason most people don't reach their potential is because they want to feel motivated before they act. But it doesn't work like that. You don't wait to feel motivated. You act, and motivation follows. You move even when you don't feel like it. You push even when nobody is clapping for you. Because real motivation isn't in your emotions, it's in your execution. You've got to get to a place where your actions reflect your goals, not your mood. When you say you want success, you have to mean it with your habits. You can't talk about wanting to be a leader, but spend your time being lazy. You can't say you want to be an example and then cut corners. Every action counts. Every time you choose effort over excuse, you're building the kind of character that others will respect. Your actions are your loudest advertisement. You don't need to tell people you're dedicated. Your grind will speak for you. You don't need to convince people you're serious. Your results will shout it louder than any words could. The truth is, the world is full of talkers. Everybody has ideas. Everybody has plans. But very few have the courage to take the first step and keep moving when it gets hard. You can't inspire people with empty promises. You inspire them by doing what most people won't do. When you show up every day and give everything you've got, people start to believe in what's possible because of you. Your energy, your consistency, your example, that's what motivates others. Motivation isn't about hype, it's about habits. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need the courage to take imperfect action. Action doesn't require applause. You might not get recognition right away. You might not see the results instantly, but every time you act, you plant a seed. And one day, those seeds will grow into something powerful, not just for you, but for everyone watching. Somebody out there needs to see your grind. Somebody out there is losing hope. Your example could be the spark that reignites their fire. That's why your actions matter. That's why your actions matter. That's why you can't just talk about it. You gotta be about it. You have to understand that action creates momentum. Once you start moving, things begin to shift. Opportunities appear. People take notice. Doors open that words alone could never unlock. When you act, you show the universe that you're serious. You tell life, I'm ready for more. But when you sit and wait for the right moment, you're sending the message that you're comfortable staying the same. Every moment you hesitate, your goals move one step further away. So don't wait. Move, act, grind. You've got to stop expecting motivation to come from outside sources. Stop waiting for the perfect song, the perfect speech, the perfect quote to get you started. You are your own motivation. Every time you act, every time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen that muscle. And when others see that, they'll be inspired not by your words, but by your consistency. That's how leaders are made. Through action, through perseverance, through doing what most people won't. Action transforms belief into reality. It's easy to believe in yourself when things are going well, but can you believe enough to keep working when they're not? Can you still push when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when it feels like nobody cares? That's when your example matters most. Consistency creates credibility, and credibility is what makes people trust you, follow you, and believe in you. You can talk all day about being motivated, disciplined, and committed, but if your actions don't line up day after day, it means nothing. Consistency is the difference between people who say they're gonna do something and the ones who actually make it happen. When you show up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. So when people start to believe that you're the real deal. You earn respect through repetition, not reputation. Nobody trusts a person who starts strong and disappear when things get tough. People follow those who are steady, not just loud. When you're consistent, you send a message to the world, I can be counted on. You're telling people that your word means something, that your grind isn't a phase, that your effort isn't temporary. Everybody gets excited on day one. Everybody's fired up in the beginning. But consistency means showing up on day 101, day 201, and day 1001 with the same hunger you had when you started. That's what builds credibility. That's what makes others say, if they can do it, I can too. Because when they see your consistency, they see your belief in action. You have to understand that consistency isn't glamorous. It's not the highlight reel on social media. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the quiet work when nobody is watching. It's doing what needs to be done, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. That's when credibility is built. Anybody can be good when everything is going their way. But when life hits, when you're tired, when the results aren't showing yet, can you still show up? That's the test. That's the moment that separates those who want it from those who only say they do. People will forget your motivational words, but they'll never forget how consistent you were. Think about it. The people you admire most, the ones you respect, it's not because they talked a lot. It's because they showed up a lot. Every single day, they proved who they were through their actions. That's credibility. It's the quiet power of doing what you said you do long after the excitement is gone. When people see that kind of discipline, they trust you. They believe in you because consistency shows character. When you keep showing up, even when it's uncomfortable, you build something powerful. Momentum, and momentum is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. Motivation is temporary, but consistency turns it into a lifestyle. You can't control every outcome, but you can control how often you show up or it survive. Even on your worst days, you can still give effort, and that effort compounds. Every consistent day adds another brick to your foundation. Eventually, that foundation becomes so strong that nothing can shake it. That's credibility, not given, but earned. People are watching you more than you realize. They're not listening for your speeches. They're observing your consistency. They want to see if you live what you preach. Every day, you're either building trust or breaking it. Every time you show up and do what you promised, you add to your credibility. But every time you make excuses, every time you disappear, when it's inconvenient, you lose some of that trust. It's not about being perfect. It's about being reliable. It's about doing your best consistently, even when no one is there to applaud you. Consistency is what makes your message believable. You can't tell others to grind if you're not grinding. You can't talk about sacrifice if you're not sacrificing. You can't demand excellence from others when you're comfortable being average. People follow examples, not speeches. When your actions line up every day, you become that example. You become the person others want to emulate. They'll say, I don't know how they do it, but they never stop. That's the kind of credibility that changes lives. You can't fake consistency. You can post all the quotes you want, but if your habits don't match your words, it will show. You can't trick time. Time exposes everything. Time reveals who's disciplined and who's distracted. Every single day is a test, and consistency is your answer key. You don't need to prove yourself in one big moment. Prove yourself every day in the small ones. Get up when you don't feel like it. Work when nobody is watching. Stay humble when success comes, and stay hungry when it doesn't. That's how you build a legacy that people believe in. When you're consistent, life starts to open doors that you didn't even know existed. Opportunities start to find you because people can see you're dependable. They know that if they give you a task, you'll deliver. They know your word means something. That's credibility. That's influence. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being the most reliable one. The person who shows up, rain or shine, wins in the end. Leadership begins with self-discipline, and too many people want to lead others before they've learned how to lead themselves. You can't tell anyone what to do if you can't even control your own habits. You can't expect respect if your life is out of order. Real leadership doesn't start when you're given a title, a team, or a platform. It starts when you take control of your choices, your time, and your mindset. The first person you have to lead every morning is the one in the mirror, If you can't get yourself up, focused, and consistent, you'll never be able to guide anyone else. Self-discipline is the foundation of greatness. It's not glamorous and it's not loud. It's built in the small, quiet moments. When the alarm goes off and you decide to get up instead of snooze. When the temptation comes and you say no when you're tired, but you still finish what you started. That's where leadership is born. People respect those who can control themselves because it shows strength. When you're disciplined, people trust you, not because of your words, but because of your behavior. You become dependable, predictable in the best way, the one who shows up regardless of how you feel. Too many people want to influence others without first mastering themselves. They want to tell people how to win, but they haven't learned how to fight their own battles. Leadership is not about giving orders, it's about setting an example. When people see you holding yourself to a high standard, they naturally start to rise to that level. Your self-discipline becomes contagious. When others see how consistent you are, how focused you stay, how you don't let distractions pull you off course, they start believing that discipline works. That's real leadership. Showing, not telling. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. You can have the biggest dreams, the best intention, but if you don't have control over your habits, you'll never make it. Every leader has to learn how to say no. No to laziness, no to excuses, no to distractions, no to shortcuts. Every time you say no to what's easy, you say yes to what's necessary. And that yes moves you one step closer to greatness. The world is full of people who talk about potential, but few who live with discipline. Potential is what you could be. Discipline is what you become. Self-discipline isn't just about working hard. It's about working with purpose. It's not about doing random things to stay busy. It's about doing the right things even when you don't want to. That's what separates leaders from followers. Leaders know how to control their emotions. They don't react to everything that happens. They stay calm under pressure. They stay focused in chaos, and they make decisions based on principles, not feelings. That takes strength. That takes time. Takes discipline. Leadership starts when you realize that your habits define your destiny. Every choice you make is either leading you closer to your goal or pulling you away from it. Every time you choose discipline, you're building the muscle of leadership. Every time you keep your word, even when it's uncomfortable, you're proving that you can be trusted. And that's what leadership is built on. Trust. People won't follow you because you tell them to. They'll follow you because you've shown them that your actions and your words match. The problem with many people is that they want control over others, but don't have control over themselves. You can't lead your family, your team, or your business if you can't lead your emotions. You can't inspire anyone to greatness if you keep quitting when it gets hard. Real leaders are the ones who stay consistent even when nobody is watching. They do what needs to be done whether it's convenient or not. They don't need applause. They don't need attention. They just need progress. That's self-discipline. Every great leader you admire, whether it's an athlete, an entrepreneur, or a speaker, masters self-discipline before they mastered anything else. They learn to keep promises to themselves. They learn to push through pain. They learn to delay gratification. They train their minds to do what's necessary even when it wasn't exciting. That's the difference between temporary success and lasting impact. When you have self-discipline, you can be trusted with responsibility because people know you'll handle it well. You can't expect others to listen to you if you can't listen to your own standards. You can't expect others to give their best if you're giving half. Leadership begins when you stop blaming circumstances and start taking ownership. It's not about what happens around you. It's about how you respond. Self-discipline is choosing progress over comfort, principles over pleasure, and purpose over pride. You have to be willing to sacrifice now so you can lead later. Your environment is watching you. Whether you realize it or not, every move you make is sending a message to the people around you. Someone's observing your consistency, your attitude, your grind, your patience, your reaction when life hits hard. You might think nobody sees you, but someone always does. Your children are watching how you respond to pressure. Your friends are watching how you handle failure. Your coworkers are watching whether you show up or give up. You're teaching people how to live, not by what you say, but by what you do. Every action is a lesson. Every choice is an example. That's why your life has to match your message. It's easy to talk about success, to post motivational quotes, to sound like you got it all figured out. But your environment doesn't learn from your words. It learns from your walk. You don't teach people through speeches. You teach them through consistency. When they see you staying up late to study, getting up early to work, sacrificing fun for focus, they start to believe that discipline works. You become proof that dreams don't come true because of luck, but because of effort. That's what people respond to. That's what inspires them. Not perfection, but persistence. Every single day you're influencing someone. Maybe it's a younger sibling who looks up to you. Maybe it's a teammate who notices your effort. Maybe it's a stranger who sees how you carry yourself. The truth is, someone is always watching. The way you handle adversity might be the motivation someone else needs to keep going. The way you forgive, stay patient, or push through pain might be the lesson that changes another person's perspective. You might not even realize it, but your life is speaking louder than your voice ever could. That's why your example matters more than your explanation. If you show up every day with excuses, your environment learns excuses. If you show up with energy, your environment learns effort. You can't expect your kid or your friends to give 100% if you're giving 50%. You can't tell others to believe in themselves while you doubt yourself. You can't preach consistency while you live in chaos. People listen to actions, not advice. The best leaders lead by living the lesson. The best parents teach through their example. The best teammates elevate the room just by how they show up. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real and relentless. Your environment's like a mirror. It reflects what you project. If you bring negativity, you'll see more of it. If you bring gratitude and focus, your environment shifts. That's the power of influence. The more disciplined you are, the more disciplined those around you become. The more consistent you are, the more others learn that consistency is the key. When people see your commitment, they start to challenge themselves. You change the culture not by commanding it, but by living it. Sometimes you might feel like what you're doing doesn't matter. You might think nobody's paying attention. But trust me, someone is. Somebody is watching your grind and finding strength in it. Somebody is watching you get back up after failing and realizing it's okay to try again. Somebody is learning resilience just by observing yours. You might not hear it, but your example is echoing in other people's lives. That's the beauty and the responsibility of influence. You don't always get to choose who's watching, but you always choose what they see. That's why you've got to be intentional with your actions. You can't live on autopilot. You can't just react to life. You've got to respond with purpose. Every time you decide to do the right thing, even when it's hard, you're shaping your environment. Every time you keep your word, show respect, or stay humble, you're teaching others how to operate with integrity. And integrity is contagious. People start to trust more, work harder, and believe deeper when they're surrounded by someone who lives authentically. You don't need to have a microphone to inspire people. You don't need a big audience. All you need is consistency in your character. The people closest to you, they're learning from your discipline, your patience, your grind. You can change an entire generation, not through speeches, but through example. Your example is the blueprint someone else will follow. The way you move sets the tone for how others move. If you give up easily, they'll think giving up is okay. But if you keep fighting, they'll learn that quitting isn't an option. You are someone standing for what's possible. When you understand that your environment is always watching, you start to take your habits seriously. You start to think before you react. You start to lead, not because you're told to, but because you know you're responsible for the energy you bring. And when you start living like that, people begin to shift around you. Workplaces change, families strengthen, teams grow tighter. Integrity builds legacy, and legacy is what remains long after you're gone. It's not about the money you make, the trophies you earn, or the titles you collect. It's about the kind of person you are when no one's watching. Integrity is doing what's right even when it's not convenient, even when it costs you something. It's keeping your word when it's easier to quit. It's telling the truth when a lie will protect your image. Standing on principles when pressure pushes you to compromise. That's what real greatness looks like. Not perfection, but consistency and character. People may admire your talent, but they will only trust your integrity. You can be the most skilled, the most intelligent, the most talented person in the room, but if you don't have integrity, everything you built will eventually fall apart. Integrity is the glue that holds success together. Without it, achievements are temporary. With it, your legacy becomes eternal. People remember how you made them feel, how you treated them, how you stood for something when others stay silent. They remember your character far more than your accomplishments. Integrity isn't testing comfort, it's testing challenge. It's easy to be honest when there's nothing to lose. It's easy to be calm when everyone's watching. But real integrity shows up when nobody's around, when no one will give you credit, when nobody will ever find out what choice you made except you. That's when your values either speak or stay silent. That's when legacy is built. Because what you do in private eventually shows in public. Your habits, your principles, your decisions, they all create the story that people will one day tell about you. You can't fake integrity. You can fake a smile, fake success, fake effort, but you can't fake character. Sooner or later, the truth always shows. And when it does, it will reveal who you really are. The people who last, the ones who leave a real impact, are the ones who stay true to themselves through every season. The good, the bad, the uncertain. Integrity gives you peace of mind because you know you didn't cut corners. You didn't cheat to win. You didn't betray who you were for what you wanted. That kind of peace can't be bought. It's earned through honesty and discipline. Integrity isn't about being perfect. You'll make mistakes. You'll fall short. You'll have regrets. But integrity is about owning those mistakes. It's about admitting when you're wrong instead of hiding behind excuses. It's about making things right, even when it's uncomfortable. People respect honesty far more than they respect perfection. When you can say, I messed up, I'm gonna fix it, you earn something more valuable than approval. You earn trust, and trust is the foundation of every great legacy. When you walk in integrity, your presence has weight. People believe you because they've seen you live what you say. Your words carry power because they're backed by consistency. When you tell someone you'll do something, they don't doubt you because you built a reputation of reliability. That's what integrity does. It builds credibility one decision at a time. It makes you dependable, predictable in the best way. When people can trust your word, you become a leader without even trying. You inspire others to be better simply by being honest and authentic. Integrity isn't always rewarded immediately. Sometimes it costs you opportunities. Sometimes it isolates you. Sometimes it feels like doing the right thing puts you behind. But in the long run, integrity always wins. Because while others may climb fast by cutting corners, they also fall fast when the truth catches up. Integrity builds slow, but it lasts forever. Every honest choice, every disciplined action, every act of respect adds another brick to your legacy. When people talk about you years from now, they won't talk about your possessions. They'll talk about your principles. The world is full of people chasing fame, but very few chasing integrity. Fame fades. Integrity endures. You don't have to be in the spotlight to make an impact. Your example is enough. When others see you refusing to cheat, refusing to lie, refusing to lower your standards, they're reminded that doing right still matters. Your integrity gives others permission to be real. It challenges them to stop faking it and start living truthfully. That's how legacies are built, one honest action at a time. Integrity is also about how you treat people when you have nothing to gain. Do you respect the janitor the same way you respect the CEO? Do you keep promises to people who can't do anything for you? That's the real test of character. It's easy to be kind when it benefits you, but integrity means being kind because it's who you are, not because of what you get. The way you treat others reveals your values more than anything you say. That's the kind of impact people never forget.